Skoda 1000 megabytes, 721 1966 to 1967. The Skoda 1000 megabytes and Skoda 1100 megabytes are two rear-engined, rear-wheel drive small family cars that were produced by Czechoslovakian manufacturer ACNP in Mlad Boleslav between 1964 and 1969. The two-door coupe versions of the 1000 megabytes and 1100 megabytes were called the 1000 MBX and 1100 MBX. In 1955, the same year in which the Skoda 440-445 made its first appearance, Skoda started making plans for a new car for the 1960s. The initial plans for the car were to make the car as light and fuel efficient as possible. It was to weigh no more than 700 kilograms, and the overall fuel consumption was not to exceed 6-7 liters per 100 kilometers, 33 to 38 miles per gallon. The next step was to produce the car as a four-door saloon, which would be built using monocoque construction. Like most leading car manufacturers dating from before the Second World War, Skoda always built their cars using the traditional and well-proven front engine and rear-wheel drive layout. The front engine with front-wheel drive option was unsuccessful due to higher cost and design complexity, and therefore Skoda opted for the rear-engined with rear-wheel drive format. Even by the early 1960s, the idea of rear-engine small family saloons was still considered to be reasonably popular. In France, there were the Renault Dauphine, Renault 8 and Simca 1000, while in Germany there were the Volkswagen Beetle and NSU Prinz. In Italy there were the Fiats 500 and 600, and in Britain there was the Hillman Imp, all of which employed the rear-engined concept. The Skoda 1000 megabytes, the letters M coming from the initials of Mlad Boleslav, made its debut in April 1964, as the successor for the Skoda Octavia. This was just the beginning of what was to eventually evolve into a long line of rear-engined Skodas. The engine that powered the 1000 megabytes was a 988cc, 1-liter, 4-cylinder, overhead valve, OHV, unit that produced 44 bhp, 33 kilowatts. It was water-cooled, with an aluminum cylinder block and cast-iron cylinder head. The 1000 megabytes had a 4-speed manual all-synchro mesh gearbox, all-round independent suspension, swing axle rear suspension, and drum brakes at the front and rear. The 1000 megabytes was a stylish four-door saloon, measuring 13 feet 8 inches in length and 5 feet 4 inches in width, with a wheelbase of 7 feet 10 inches, which featured a steeply sloping nose that was flanked by rounded front wings, not unlike the Ford Anglia 105V of the time. Being a rear-engined car, the 1000 megabytes S radiator and engine-driven cooling fin were situated in the rear engine compartment, so therefore a series of slats were cut into each rear wing and the rear panel to increase the flow rate of air in order to assist in keeping the engine cool. Apart from the use of cooling vents in the rear wings and rear panel, everything else about the 1000 megabytes S styling was normal, which was undoubtedly in an attempt to appeal to all the conservative-minded buyers in export countries like the UK. This car was highly successful both for Skoda and the Czech economy.